Hello and welcome to ASB TDC TV, a product of a partnership between the University of Arkansas Small Business and Technology Development Center and the Northwest Arkansas Council Small Business Emergency Assistance Program. In this series, we're talking with small businesses, experts, and ASB TDC consultants about the relevant and right now topics and solutions for small business. I'm Amy Robinson.
Hi everybody, my name is Chris Case and we're here with Mailena and Justin today from Big Box Karaoke. So you guys, like I said earlier, you guys have such a great concept, a unique business that I wasn't aware of before all this and I'm very excited about. So could you kind of explain your business first to start off with?
Sure. Well, we are a private suite karaoke restaurant and bar, which just means that we have 7 private rooms for people to karaoke. They rent the rooms out by the hour and they karaoke with their friends and family in that room, and we serve food and drink inside the room for them. Typically, we also have a dining and a bar area for people just to come and grab something to eat, so restaurant style. Yeah, we're based in Fayetteville on Block Avenue, and we are the first business like ours in the state of Arkansas. We opened December 2018.
That's exciting. And so you had a big box first year and then voila, here was COVID. So tell us a little bit about what adaptations you made and just some of the things that you did kind of on the front end of when all of that was happening, and just kind of walk us through a little bit of where that was and where you are right now.
Yeah, it's definitely been a journey the last few months. I always say few, but it's like going into, I think, 5 months now that we've been into all of this. I will say that, obviously there was a lot of reports early on in the year about this in other areas of the world. So you kind of had this feeling that something was going to happen and changes were needed to be made. And so we started having conversations about that pretty early on, kind of in the like February or early March timeframe. And when it came down to it, once the shutdown had happened, we were proactive in cutting costs in our business. We had cut about 85% of our costs right before the shutdown had come. And so we, took that opportunity to say, okay, what are the things that are not essential to our business? What are the things that are essential? And how do we move forward, planning kind of in this new environment. We didn't know what the new environment was going to be, though, right? We didn't know if we were going to be shut down, if we were not going to be able to, have people in our business or do takeout, and, certain things along the way kind of changed that and allowed us to stay open for takeout. We've actually never had to shut down just yet. We've been open for takeout. We did that for I think 3 months, right? About 3 months total. And we adapted our business during that time. In the first couple of weeks after kind of having to be shut down the inside of our business, we did a Facebook Live for some sake that we had been working on. We had the largest sake selection in basically all of Arkansas. And so we had been working on bringing some new stuff in for about 9 months. And it just happened to show up at our doorstep, right when all this happened. And so we organized a Facebook Live event, and what we were able to raise through that and the awareness was great. And I really think that we were the first place, to kind of like do something like that, a virtual tasting event, virtual sake tasting event. And, I've seen groups, in our sake kind of industry all over the world kind of start to do a lot of similar things. So I like to believe that we champion that in this environment, and we should have maybe thought about how to productize that a little bit more. But I'm proud of what we did in that, and I think that we're working on several other events like that are going to happen in probably late July and August and September. That's going to take that kind of to the next level. But it's been about adaptation and just kind of being agile in the moment and figuring out what works and what doesn't work, and trying to figure out what we can do going forward.
Well, and I want to note that your social media has been a huge, proponent. Social media, our digital lifestyle has been our lifeline to each other in all of this. And I think that you all, from my observation, really hopped on that really quickly. So even having live events and some of those things was definitely, you were ahead of a lot of people in that. You talked about some, all over the world and kind of looking at everything that's going on, and curiously, like, what are you having to look at? Where are the models that you are, is this instinctual? Are you just making this up, or are you looking at what other businesses are doing, hoping that they're looking at what you're doing, and putting that into practice as well? Where are you finding your resources and inspiration, I guess, is the question.
I mean, I think like everybody, we're just looking at the news all the time, in the beginning especially, but Block Street has a very close-knit business owner community. And so I know Justin is always actively talking to fellow business owners, so talking to them about how they're feeling, what they're planning to do, things like that, and taking that into consideration while also knowing our business, knowing our audience, and knowing our gut feelings about things, and trying to trust that. So, I think it has been just a really stressful time with all of the information overload, being able to trust your gut and going forward. So, yeah, I don't think that we have a specific resource that we can say, that is the thing that we trust and that's the thing that is going to, inform our decisions. But it's taking, community feedback, even our customer feedback. When we first, when the governor said, restaurants are going to be able to reopen their dine-in services, we weren't necessarily trusting our gut at that time. So we're like, let's ask our customers, our most loyal customers. And we created these small focus groups of people who have been just really loyal to our business, people we don't even know personally, but have gotten to know. And they hopped on a Zoom call with us, and we just told them kind of what we were going through, and asked them how they felt about coming into karaoke based on all the precautions we were planning to take. And that informed our decision to reopen and how we reopen. So, yeah.
I love
Well, it's
that.
amazing to me because we've got so many businesses that have said to us that they have wanted to kind of spread their wings a little bit, if you will, or be a little bit more innovative and do business a little bit differently. And I think this has forced businesses to do that. And a lot of good is going to come out of it because of that, just a new way of doing business for you guys. So just like you said, your live events and your social media and stuff, do you think you'll continue that after this? Do you think you'll continue the live events and kind of branching off in that direction?
Yeah, I think so. And, before all of this started, Mailena and I sat down. We usually have our business meetings late at night. I feel like, and
Yeah, you're married, by the way. Work-life balance is not a thing.
So that's okay. Yeah.
And we just, sat there and, one of the things that we talked about from a marketing perspective is that during times of recession, the businesses and the people that succeed are ones that are more active, and the ones that are willing to push the envelope, are willing to put themselves out there and market. And we made the concerted effort and said, we are going to do that. And we actually upped our marketing game. I won't say we retreated and we stopped spending ad money, but we put ourselves out there more on live videos. We put ourselves out there inside the business on live feeds, did a lot more content, and we really focused our efforts on that. So I don't see that changing. We've seen a good response on that. And I think, our engagement on social media has gone up. Our engagement on our emails have gone up. And so it's our duty now to continue that because, this is our new business way, and we need to find ways, of rewarding our customers with other products that they are willing, because they are supporting our brand, not just our business, right? And they're supporting us as people too. And so we want to find out new ways to, reward them as well as customers because they've been so, gracious to us during this time.
Well, and customers love to see the owners. Customers love to see, you know, and you guys are the dynamic duo. To have yourselves out there, it just personalizes your business far beyond what you can imagine. So I love that you guys are kind of heading that up.
Well, one of the things you just said, Justin, was kind of like, this is the way of business. So you mentioned we've been 5 months into this, and I don't think anybody expected to be here this long. And you know, Chris and I talk about the next normal and the next normal and the next normal, as opposed to the new, because, and that's the importance of your agility in that. So in looking at where you are now, where you are going, and, you know, I do think it's important that you're a couple, because people have real lives behind these businesses that I think is really important to highlight. And so as you are planning and as you are looking forward, and what does that look like? We've heard a lot on in our forums and our client conversations about, okay, so first I planned for the next 3 months, and now I'm planning for the next 2 years. So so what does that look like to you, and how are you planning for that, financially and otherwise?
I think we're in a unique situation, like a lot of other small business owners. We're married, like we said, and so that presents its own dynamic throughout this situation and pandemic. Big Box Karaoke has been a dream of ours for a really long time, and it became a reality. And now our reality is a little different than we expected. The dream and the goals and the vision of Big Box were big, and we were, you know, moving toward those. And so it's been heartbreaking to be in this and to see that kind of go away, that momentum that we've built. So planning financially for the future for Big Box, but also our personal lives, is something that we're, you know, talking on a daily basis about. And so, you know, we just talk a lot about our options as a family, but the main goal for us is to keep Big Box alive. And so how do we keep Big Box alive and our family? So, so planning for the future in that aspect and thinking about all those things is just a lot. And I'm so happy that I have Justin as a husband and also a business partner, because he does that super well. He's the numbers person behind our business and our family. And so, you know, talking about those options and thinking through that. We have 2 small kids, so we also have to think about their future and school and all the hard decisions we all have to make right now.
Yeah. So Justin, tell us a little bit about some of the, you know, financial, just a broad stroke. And I think the other thing is that in doing these interviews, we are not putting out there that somebody has all the answers. You have your answer, and it might help somebody else. We've also had conversations about it's spurring people thinking about something that they maybe weren't thinking about before. So without, you know, saying, you know, putting you on a pedestal and saying they've got it all figured out, what are some of the, you know, financial steps that you're taking, or how far you're planning, or what are some of the instruments that you think other businesses could know about or learn about that have helped you?
Yeah, so I mean, when you're looking at this, you know, right at the gate, I just use Excel. You know, I mean, I do QuickBooks and all of that other stuff, but you know, when I'm doing an exercise like this, I just get Excel out. Actually, Google Sheets, I'm using that, but Excel or Google Sheets, so you can get that out. And I literally just look at, okay, what are we paying month by month? What do we need to pay month by month? And it becomes a cash flow exercise. So you just look at what you have in the bank account, what you expect coming in, and what you expect to burn, and then how long that'll last. I mean, it's actually a really easy exercise. It you know, adjusts itself a little bit here and there. But you know, initially when we looked at this, we said, okay, August timeframe, it's going to get a little bit weird, you know, and you know, we're kind of getting into that moment. And so, and we've looked at that and we said, well, how long can we go, you know, before we need to like start making some really difficult decisions, you know, on the business. And so there are tough conversations happening, but at the end of the day, it's just about putting it on paper so you know where you stand. You know, we did participate in the PPP loan program, and I'm a very financially conservative person, and I know a lot of people are, very thankful for that, and I'm thankful for it. But what a lot of people don't understand is that if your business is not able to properly function, then you are penalized by the PPP program. And so a lot of the forgiveness aspects of it don't work for you. And so there's a lot of the businesses that are actually suffering the most are going to be the ones required to pay back the PPP, because essentially what they're doing, like what I'm doing, and what we're doing is we're holding cash because we don't know how long this is going to last, right? And so we have to hold cash so we can keep the business afloat. And so we're burning cash right now. I mean, I've told people this, we just lit a lot of cash on fire and it's not coming back. And so it's painful to see that, but we know we can get through it. At least the next like 6 months, we know we're going to be able to make it through that. And I think there's going to be some positive things start to happen, but we've revised our business model too. We're operating really lean right now. We know it's not going to get back to where it once was at this point in time. And so again, just doing the cash flow exercise, making a plan for the next week, the next month, and the next 6 months. I'm not really looking 2 years out right now, because I things are going to change so drastically over the next 6 months that it's kind of a pointless exercise in my mind to just try to project that far out.
So really what you're saying is that short-term planning is still really working, and just looking at it literally daily, monitoring things daily, and just adapting and being agile daily. I do, so on the PPP and we do consult on those. And so we completely agree that, on the front end of the PPP, it wasn't very restaurant friendly, especially when it came to employees and getting employees back. And, there have been some adaptations and some clarifications. So, now you have until December 31st to rehire back to their FTEs that you had previously, which there are some aspects of helping. But I do agree that it was just so non-specific and open-ended when people signed up for it. So nobody really knew what they were getting into, but everybody was afraid not to get it. And so that's definitely, one of the challenges in some of those things. But hopefully, so if you need any help, we'll help you with that, in navigating some of that forgiveness. But, and it's really putting a strain on banks as well. So we completely understand that. So not planning for 2 years, day-to-day kind of adaptations. This is more of a Chris question about bright spots. Go for it, Chris. She's always like, silver lining. What is it? Somebody tell me.
I want to hear from you this time, because I'm always the one that inflects all the silver linings.
Well, no, I'm curious about, so what are some of the bright spots that you are seeing that are keeping you going, that you look for and hope, and in kind of what you see happening? Because this was a really new company.
Mm-hmm.
And then for it to hit this, and to your point, Justin, the companies that survive are the ones that are out there and grinding and doing, and so that's something that you all are doing. But so tell us a little bit about your bright spots on a daily basis, other than your kids. They're always a bright spot.
That is a bright spot. And I think that was the only thing that was bright when this first started. Was the silver lining was we've worked so much over the last 1.5, 2 years to get, for this business, and we've lost a lot of family time. And so when everything shut down, it's like, okay, family time is back. And that was a big silver lining. I mean, it still is. Another silver lining, I feel like, and I think that every small business in this community is feeling, is we're feeling the love. Excuse me, our community is strong here, and in our big box community specifically is just, I cried so much just at all the people that came and just were supporting our business because they love the business and they don't want to see it go anywhere. Kind of going above and beyond with the support from friends, family, and just, customers. that was really awesome to see, and it still is there. So that has been a silver lining. From a business perspective, I think maybe the silver lining is now we kind of know with this new operation how we're operating. Justin and I have always been very operational in our ownership of Big Box. We're always there. Now we're definitely always there, and we kind of know how to operate the entire thing. And we know that we can work very lean, and that's something that is probably not going to go away, which is, I guess, maybe bright and not bright at the same time. But
I think a lot of companies are seeing that. They're seeing the same thing, right? They're figuring out how to operate a little bit more lean, which is a concern for people that work in the industry, because they might not have the same opportunities they had before this started.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much. So your social media is fabulous. We want people to continue to be able to find you. You are located in Fayetteville, but you have a lot of regional love. I know. Actually, I think that, Mailena, you're originally from Fort Smith, so you probably even have people coming from as far away as that. So, so tell us a little about where to find you on social media and otherwise.
You can find us on Instagram and Facebook, Big Box Karaoke. BigBoxKaraoke.com is our website. And you can sign up for our email. We have a very active email list that kind of hears about some of the things before everybody else. We have been very transparent throughout this whole time. I think that is the one thing about our social media, if you do follow us, is, we're not trying to sugarcoat anything. We're not trying to hide what we're going through. It's reality, and I think our customer base has responded well to that and appreciate it. So just being real through the moment, and and keep it live.
Well, we appreciate that too, and we appreciate you sharing yourselves and your stories, and so definitely go and find you. And I just want to thank you for joining us. As a viewer and listener, if you have a suggested topic, a question that you need answered, someone that you'd like to hear from, or a story that you'd like to share, please contact us at bizhelp, BUSHELP, @uark.edu and put TV in the subject line. If you are interested in benefiting from our free one-on-one consulting assistance, including PPP forgiveness, please sign up at sbtdc.uark.edu. Thank you all so much for being here. We appreciate you beyond words.
Yes, we do.